Do or die time in Philadelphia, a shootout at Red Bull Arena, and a showdown in Kansas City next on The Daily. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of The Daily here with Andrew Wiebe. I'm Nick Fershaw, looking at the biggest games on the MLS docket this weekend. We're going to start with a good one on Saturday afternoon. The Philadelphia Union at home against the Columbus Crew, 3:30 p.m. Eastern on the NBC Sports Network. You can catch a live chat on MLSsoccer.com. And Andrew, for the Union, it's do or die time. They haven't won yet this season. There's a lot of expectations on the team this year. Peter Novak and his bunch up against the Columbus Crew.
Yeah, and the problem with them not winning is it's not only on the defensive side where we've seen Zach McMath make a handful of errors that have had people pointing to Farid Mardigan saying, you know, these are guys that we didn't like when you let go. What happens now? How do you right the ship? They also haven't been scoring, though, and Danny Mwanga has to pick up some of that slack as well. He's the guy I think that you would have expected to come in for Latu, but a game at home for Philadelphia, a prime opportunity, just a point so far. Really, a must-win is maybe a strong word at this point, but if Philadelphia wants to move forward and have any chance of accomplishing their goals this season, they've got to get things going on the right track soon, and this would seem to be a perfect opportunity. Columbus had some troubles last week defensively. Probably some changes there. Can they take advantage of those shuffles on the back line? Yeah,
the Crew have been an inconsistent bunch so far this season. Again, that game, 3:30 p.m. Eastern on the NBC Sports Network. You can catch a live chat on MLSsoccer.com. Moving up the East Coast to New York, where the Red Bulls are at home on Saturday night against the San Jose Earthquakes, 7 p.m. Eastern. You can catch the game on MLS Live. A very good one. The number 2 teams in both conferences, the East and the West. The Red Bulls have been very hot lately, but San Jose just as good in recent weeks.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about Sporting Kansas City and RSL, but if you're looking for a show, for fireworks, this is probably the one you want to watch. New York has scored 13 goals in their last 3 games. Of course, they've given up 4, so it hasn't all been good for them. Ryan Mira still looking for his first shutout. On the flip side of things, San Jose seems to take advantage of every little chink in the armor that you give him. Chris Wondolowski, when you give him an inch, he takes a yard, and he's been doing that consistently. So 3 of the top goal scorers in MLS, you know, the top ones, Thierry Henry, Kenny Cooper, and Chris Wondolowski going head-to-head. It'll be interesting to see who continues that form and who continues to score goals, especially with New York having a little bit of a struggle. Conde out this week, going to be out for a long period.
Yeah, you mentioned that injury news on this one. The New York Red Bulls are going to miss Wilman Conde in this one, and the San Jose Earthquakes could miss both Steven Lenhart and Alan Gordon. Some issues for those guys up top for the Quakes. Moving on to the Midwest, where Sporting Kansas City is at home at Livestrong Sporting Park up against Real Salt Lake. 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night. This is probably the best game of the young season so far. The best team in the East versus the best team in the West, and 2 teams, 2 coaches that do it their way, and they've succeeded.
Yeah, this is going to kind of be a battle of systems, and not necessarily that those systems are that much different, simply who has it better perfected at this point in the season. Of course, RSL has a few years under their belt of playing in that diamond midfield and the possession game that they like to do. Sporting Kansas City, on the other hand, is really taking it to teams this year with that pressure, and it's going to be hard for RSL to have much solid possession within that attacking half. If they can put that together and really string some passes together and spread Sporting Kansas City out, I think we could see an upset here, although I don't know if that's the right term. Of course, anyone winning at Livestrong Sporting Park has to be very happy, but a huge game this week, and of course, we've been hyping it here on the site. A few more things to come today. A breakdown of how these 2 teams were built and how everything came together to get to this point, and then the armchair in us will take a look at those systems as well.
Yeah, 2 meticulous coaches, deliberate guys, Peter Vermees and Jason Kreis, squaring off again Saturday night. Sporting Kansas City at home against Real Salt Lake, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You can catch it on MLS Live. Last but not least, a good game on Sunday night, the Chicago Fire and the Houston Dynamo, 7 p.m. Eastern on Galavision. Both these teams have been off for a little bit. The Dynamo feels like it's been off for about a month. Each one of these teams has 3 games under their belt, waiting to see what they can bring back to the table at Toyota Park.
Yeah, we're still waiting to see what's going to happen from these teams. As you said, we just haven't seen very much of them, but I think you look at this game and advantage probably Chicago. You know, you have a Houston team that's missing so many crucial pieces in their midfield. Brad Davis out with that calf injury. Also 2 suspensions, Adam Moffat and Colin Clark not going to play. So you're going to see some shuffling. You're going to see Dom Kinnear have to move some pieces around. The good thing for Houston, they've had 2 weeks to figure that stuff out. And then on Chicago's side, can they get that offense rolling? So far, only Dominic Aduro putting the ball in the back of the net. That's a good sign for Chicago. You want him to be finishing, but you've got to get some more production from guys like Marco Papa, Sebastian Grazzini, and then even his partner up top there, Patrick Niarco. So if they can get that going, it's going to be a good season ahead for Chicago, but a good battle here on a Sunday on Galavision.
Yeah, a good one in the Eastern Conference between the Chicago Fire and the Houston Dynamo. Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern on Galavision. That does it for us, but I want to mention a couple other things really quick. Extra Time Radio, the latest edition, is up. We spoke to Nick Raimondo from Real Salt Lake and Peter Novak, the head coach of the Philadelphia Union, as well as the MLS All-Star team. You can catch that on iTunes and Buzzsprout. And for a schedule of all the games this weekend, a lot of good ones this weekend, log on to MLSsoccer.com.